Hey you guys, so today we're going to be talking about the next part of the chapter, modeling with functions, but as I said previously, the previous part of the third chapter was actually very long, so I'm going to go a little bit over that, and hopefully it doesn't go a little overboard for me not to touch up on the next part of the chapter, which honestly is quite simple, and I think you guys would be okay with it because it isn't very hard. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be talking about again is the graphing and the relations and the domain and range. So obviously, as I've said before, domain and range is pretty important, so I would think that you should know it a little well at least in order for your teachers to be like okay that you understand. Okay, cool. That's enough of my lecture. We're just going to do a couple because I don't want to bore you with the same thing if you understand it. So, okay. So this is a couple different numbers, and I'm going to draw three different things. Or two different things, sorry. 57, 68, 93. Sorry, it didn't fit in the box. I'll just make this box a little longer. Oh my. Okay, give me a second. I'll just write this part over. Okay, cool. So how are y'all doing? I don't really know what to say as I'm writing like stuff. Are y'all doing good? How's COVID going wherever y'all live? I live in Texas, and it's okay. It's not horrible, at least in my community. It is pretty bad, like in the south of Texas, but not where I'm from. Okay, cool. So we only got two values here, actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the arrows. And also, they want us to state if this is a function or not. So we're just going to do domain and range right now. So the domain for this, as I said previously, a domain is x values. And the range right here is 5, 8, 15, 12, 15, 19. Also, you want to list domain and range in numerical order, and make sure you do that just in precautionary so you can get your points. So the domain for this is 57, 68, 93, 99. Range 9, 2. It's easy, right? So we're just going to figure out if this is a function. Do y'all think this is a function? Okay, it is. I gave a little pause, so hopefully you thought about it. It is a function because all the x values go to one y value, and there isn't two x values that a y value goes to. In this case, it looks complicated, but it is a function, in fact, because all the x values are going to a y value. And if you do a vertical line test, it still passes. But if this 9 went to this 57 and it also went to the 68. Wait a second. Yes, it still passes. Because the only way where it could not pass is if there was one x value where this 99 went to a 2, but it also went to this 9. Then it would fail. Okay. Okay. So, yay, let me just do a little bit of a vertical line test review. So these are obviously, they're not super complicated, just need to know the basics. Vertical line test, basically each vertical line you draw has to pass only through 1 point, because if it passes through more, then it is considered not a function and it fails the vertical line test. So I'm going to be drawing 2 graphs right here, so one graph, and the other graph will make it another absolute value, but going towards the right. So this one truly passes it because there is only 1 point where the vertical lines are going through. But in this case, it's going through a couple points. So it sadly does not pass. Okay, that is a good enough review. Hopefully y'all understand. I'm going to go into the next portion of the textbook of chapter 3 called Modeling with Functions. So independent variable versus dependent. We're first going to start with that. IV, C, DV. I think y'all should have learned this in science, but IV, independent variable, C, constant, DV, dependent. So I'm going to put this in terms of a graph. My teacher taught me this in around 6th grade, so hopefully y'all can remember this. Dry, mix. So the D stands for dependent variable, so that means the dependent variables are Y values. And the I in mix stands for independent variables, so that means the independent variable is a X value. Because as the independent variable increases, the dependent variable is dependent on the X value. It's dependent on the independent variable to go further or decrease or whatever in values. Okay, so that was just a little synopsis for you over that stuff. We are going to now be evaluating independent and dependent variables and then solving for a value. Oops, I'm so sorry. Sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to read you a problem, and we are just going to solve it like a regular equation. So, Georgia, a florist, charges $10.95 per flower. So flower, we're going to keep it as X. So $10.95 per flower, plus a $15 delivery charge. So the delivery charge is only for that one time you get it delivered. So it's just 15 right here. Oops. Okay, cool. So 15 is equal to the function we're just going to call f of x, because the x value is an x right here. If Charlie orders 8 bundles of flowers and has them delivered, how much will Georgia make Charlie pay for it? So all we need to do, they're asking, so Charlie he's ordering 8 flowers. So all we need to do is, so since x represents flowers, all we're going to do is put in an 8 in place of the x. Also, right now, I'm going to stop right here and introduce the dependent and independent variable, or identify them, of this part of the equation. So as you can tell, as I said earlier, just think of dry, mix. Dependent variable is the y value, so the dependent is the total cost. The total cost that Charlie's going to have to pay Georgia for the flowers. And the independent variable is the x value, so it is the number of flowers. So in this case, the independent variable is 8. Okay, so now all we're going to do, replace the x with an 8. When you are replacing x's or whatever with a number, you are going to put f of that value. So f of 8. Like f of x, the x in this case is an 8, so f of 8. Now, all we're doing is we are solving for f of 8. Put it into your calculators. It should be 87.6 plus 15, which is 102.6. always remember to have your units. So this is how much Charlie's going to pay for the flowers. We're going to do one more example. Okay, so in this one, Allison owns a music store and sells DVDs at $17.75 per DVD. If Craig orders 5 DVDs, how much is it? So again, we're going to identify the dependent and independent variable. D stands for dependent variable, so D is the y value. So this is the y value. That is dependent, and that is how much it's going to cost. And the I in this case is the x value, which is, oh, that's why the x's are here and the y's are here. I forgot to explain that. So the dependent is y and independent is x. I don't know what the R and M mean. I'm forgetting at the moment. I'm so sorry. So the independent value in this case are DVDs that Allison is going to buy. So now it's saying that Craig wants 5 DVDs. Okay, now we just put this into the calculator, 17.75 times 5, which is equal to $88.95 for ethylene. And that is how much Craig is going to pay her. Cool. Okay, let's see. Next is actually the next chapter, which is called graphing functions, and I will talk about that in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was a little easier compared to the last part. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!